Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode with TalkOnTopicz Podcast. I have with me again a special guest, Sharontine Bottley, who is the Breakthrough Life and Business Coach. Today, Sharontine is going to share with us a little bit about her academy, her up-and-coming academy. Sharontine, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity to visit with you today.
Well, thank you for coming and sharing with us. I'm so excited to hear about your new academy. So, the details.
I'm excited as well. The academy is going to be a place where we help to present the whole woman, her personal, her business aspirations, her goals, her dreams. We highlight her mental health. We highlight where she's going. We help her get unstuck. And this academy is going to help her focus on the whole entire gamut of the roles of the woman and making sure that it's balanced. And we're going to end with making sure that she's financially secure. So what I want to do is to make sure that she has a support system. And that's why we're launching, and I'm super excited about it. There's so many areas to cover, but that's what we need, support and accountability. So that's what I'm going to be launching here soon.
I agree, support and accountability. What type of, this sounds like a program. The program, how long with this program? What's the length of this program?
The program will last between 3 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
There are 3 parts to the program. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to hone in exactly, meet women where they are and not try to recreate anything or make it difficult. The most challenging part of it for us as women is to admit that we need help in direction that we're going. And so since I have years and years of experience in multi areas, I wanted to just share, and I felt that the academy would be a place that the woman can feel a safe space and get the support that she needs, whatever direction she's headed in.
Okay, so what type of support exactly are you all offering at this academy?
We'll be offering financial support, wealth building, what things that they didn't teach us and prepare us for in school, even college. You know, I'm a finance and economics major, but I never was taught how to invest. I was never taught, I was taught about specific topics and terminology, but preparation for my future and retirement years, which I'm approaching, I wasn't taught how to do that. And I see that so many women are absent in the financial area in their household, their own household, and they manage it well, but they're absent when it comes to having a will, having an investment account, a retirement account, having the proper insurance in place for their children in the event of a catastrophe or whatever. We just need to make sure that we're securing our future, leaving wealth and an opportunity for our children to carry the torch after we're no longer here. It's a difficult topic for some women to talk about, having wills in place and trust agreements in place, but it's something that we need to discuss in our community. So that's what we're going to cover as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Strengthening women financially. What was the motivation behind creating the academy?
The motivation was I was lost after my divorce. I went through a divorce a few years back, and I had financial vehicles in place for me, but the divorce wiped out all of my plans, wiped me out. Even though I was aware of what it took to keep the ball rolling in my business and my personal life, the divorce that I went through just kind of wiped all that off, and I had to start all over. And starting all over, I depleted some of my retirement. I couldn't even rely on that. So I wanted to make sure that the pitfalls that I went through and the dark spots that I went through and dark times that I went through, that you just can't talk to everybody about. You feel embarrassed because you shouldn't be in this place in the first place. But it's very necessary that we be transparent with ourselves if we're going to retire differently, or if we're going to have the life that we're entitled to. We've got to be honest about where we are. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig. I'm going to tell you that I hit rock bottom after my divorce. I was on a plan, a path to secure me through my retirement years, but I lost everything. So when I went back to work after I lost my business too, I had to close my business down. I realized just how unprepared women that were in business like myself, how unprepared they were. So I want to make sure that I address some of the areas that we need to bring women up to speed on, and that is financially. Our health and mental well-being and our finances are the 2 most important areas, in my opinion, that we need to address right now. So we're going to start there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like picking yourself up from rock bottom?
Um, Knowing and believing in yourself, which starts with my belief and my faith in God.
Mm,
Knowing that I was not alone, knowing that I wasn't the first person it happened to,
mm,
knowing that if other people can get through it, so can I. So I
wow.
had to set up a plan. I had to figure out
Mm,
a plan that will work, that would allow me to do what I needed to do to get my daughter and I on back on a normal path of living, where we didn't have to be living check to check. I mean, there were days I looked at my cupboards, they were bare, and I didn't get any assistance or apply for any assistance. So I had to figure things out as a working mom and how to create multiple streams of income. And even when I went back to work in the corporate arena, in the federal arena, I got laid off. So all
mm,
these challenges came about, I think, and I know for sure now, was to prepare me to where I'm going. And that is,
mm,
I've got to be transparent and open and honest. And if I've never gone down that road, how can I tell you about what it's like to come out of there? So I've
mm,
been there, and I want to share with you how I came back. I just had to pull up my bootstraps. There was no pride, no shame in the game anymore, because I realized I had a daughter. That was my why. I wanted to make sure that she didn't have to go through any hardships or financial interruptions with her college plans because of decisions that I made, she and her father made. They didn't have anything to do with her. So I
wow.
wanted to secure her path for her. So that was my why, to pull up my bootstraps and go to work and make sure that I build my financial stream back to where I needed to be to survive and to provide a lifestyle that we were accustomed to.
Wow. What a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful story. You have a lot of resilience, perseverance. Where does
Oh,
that stem from? I know your faith. I know you mentioned your faith. How does one build their spirituality?
oh, I can't take credit for that. I have to say there were um, there were people that prayed for me before them, but I'm a great observer. So
Mm,
I know what I don't want. And when things
okay.
come to me that I have no control over, number one, I can't worry about things I don't have control over. I worry about a plan for things I can control, and securing our mental health. Because when you're in stress, when you're in um, unfamiliar territory that you're not accustomed to,
Hmm.
sometimes we just sit down and just let life cave us in. And I didn't have a choice.
Mm,
If it were just me, that's a different story. But I had a daughter that was looking up to me. So I think that was my driving force, was to keep going, because I knew the potential. I'd done it before. I knew
mm,
me as a person. I believed in me, and I was confident in me. And I thought, okay, I've seen people fall down and get back up. And I think I
mm.
heard someone say the other day, it was Denzel, fall down 7 times, get back up 8. Do
Okay.
what you need to do. And we live in a society nowadays where people are suffering and they're hurting so desperately. And if there's anything we can contribute on our watch, it's only going to bless you on up the road. So I just know that I'm passionate about helping as many women. And honestly, when I was going through my divorce, whether I was in the carpool line, on hold, customer service, waiting on a call or whatever, there were always women reaching out to me. I think it was ordained. They were reaching out
Mm,
to me, asking me, what do you do in this situation? What did you do in this situation? And I just remember going back, thinking about all that. There were so many women that were reaching, they were searching, they were looking.
mm,
So if we can help solve problems, I think that's what we're here for.
mm.
So that's my driving force, is to be able to just help. If I can help one or many, that's my goal.
Sounds like you found your purpose in your pit bull.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
In your downtime, in
Mm-hmm,
after your divorce, right?
mm-hmm.
Your purpose was birthed.
Yes, it
So I
was.
wanted, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Yes, it was birth, and that's when I recognized it.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm,
wonderful. Um, I had a similar experience. I just written a book. It's called The Journey, and I'm
mm-hmm,
also discussing how my life started after divorce. I wanted to know, I know you're a best-selling author of The Breakthrough: Five
mm-hmm,
Steps to Rain After the Storm. Did I say that right?
mm-hmm,
So I wanted to know, you mentioned you had started a business, and after that divorce, that business failed, or you lost that business, and then you ventured off, you wrote a book, and now you're starting a new business. To women and other individuals who are watching today, can you tell the audience, how do you bounce back and find confidence in yourself, and how do you bounce back and find confidence in yourself? You've
Mhm.
restarted businesses. You are a best-selling author. You know, you've made some accomplishments. Can you tell the audience, how do you bounce back and find confidence in yourself? And how do you bounce back and find confidence in yourself?
Okay. I proved myself to myself. I didn't have anything to
Mm,
prove to anyone else in my business ventures. I worked in corporate America for so many years, not very many, before I realized after college that I was meant to be an entrepreneur. Now, we need jobs. We need jobs. And I worked in corporate America, but I made up my mind then that I wanted to start my own business when I was in my probably mid 20s, late 20s. So
mm,
that was a goal of mine. And I was working in the banking system, and I was a community reinvestment officer. So I would go into neighborhoods, low to moderate income neighborhoods, and I would say to businesses that you cannot advertise or profit from this community unless you're reinvesting to that community. So I
mm,
saw early on communities like the ones I grew up in, very poor.
mm,
And I realized that there were acts and laws out there, like the Community Reinvestment Act of 1977, that says that if you're going to build in this community, you got to reinvest. So I worked for the banks, and I went out there with Habitat for Humanities, and I spotted companies and that wanted to grow in that neighborhood. So we partnered with them
mhm,
to help them help meet the needs of the citizens in that community. And so that was huge for me, because growing up in a community that was very poor, we didn't have any resources. We didn't have any outlets that were trying to protect our rights and make sure that we were accounted for in our business dealings and just our personal everyday dealings. So what that looked like for me was it sparked something inside of me, knowing that if I were an entrepreneur, or if I could control where I was going, then I wouldn't be deemed as an employee and be ordered in my steps. So I knew the ingredients to start a business, so I did it. So I knew the success rate of it, and I proved it to myself. Divorce came, it was an interruption that wasn't planned for. No, I don't think divorces are planned for. But anyway, the divorce came, and I knew that I had to protect my personal health and my daughters. So I decided to close the business because I couldn't carry on financially and focus on my personal life too. So it never was an intention for me never to be in business again. I just did it for that moment because I had to. I had to focus on me and my personal life and where I was going. So with that drive down inside of me, wanting to be an entrepreneur, I didn't abandon my gifts. I didn't abandon my desires and my talents. So as time went on, I got a job, another job, and these jobs bought me lots of experience. I was a CRA investment officer, an underwriter, an acquisitions negotiator, which was the coolest job I've ever had for the Army Corps of Engineers. But anyway, it taught me so many lessons in life as far as being in business that I thought I would share. I have all this knowledge, and a lot of women just really have a desire to do things better for themselves and be better and offer a better lifestyle for them and their families. So it's just knowing where to start. And that's what I want to provide to them, is where to start. What do I do with a resume if I've been over here for 15 years, got all this experience? What can I do to start or generate a second income? That's where I come in and say, what's your experience? What are your desires? What is it you want to do? What are your personal goals? And then we talk about purpose and see how we can align them. And there's no such thing as you can see every day. I motivate women to stay encouraged, to keep going. And sometimes you have to reflect on your past. We don't want to look back and cripple ourselves, but you have to reflect on your past to remind yourself where you're not going to go. So I would say the key to surviving and bouncing back is personal. It's a personal goal. You have to have that drive and that motivation and that ambition, is where mine came from.
in order to have that drive and that ambition, where does that start?
At the onset of when you go to college, you want to decide, what do you want to do with your life? Some of us are able to fulfill that desire, and some of us are not. We change professions altogether, and that's okay, because you are able to figure out where you want to be. It could be midlife. You don't like your job. You don't like your 9 to 5, or you don't like your business anymore. It's too financially heavy. You want to go back to a job. You don't have to have the overhead expenses and employee worries and things of that nature. So it's whatever your desire is. I think for so long we've been limited. We've limited ourselves because society limits us.
Wow.
Now it's time to take the barriers off. You see, I heard the statistic the other day. 4 no, 4 million people quit their jobs in 1 month.
Wow.
What does that say? That means that more people are launching their businesses, more people are jumping ships, more people are realizing that, you know what? What do I have to lose?
Right.
What do I have to lose? I want to invest in me. And so I
Yes.
say yes to you, ignore naysayers and negative energy, which is why we have to start off a clean slate. I don't believe in resolutions. I believe in affirmations, confirmations, and blessings.
That's right.
Okay. You determine which one you receive and which
Right.
one you give. So for me to sit and say, I want to make a New Year's resolution, I'm going to do this. No. Mm-mm. Prove to yourself what you can do. Take some baby steps. You
Right.
don't want at the end of 2022 to say, you know what, my to-do list or resolution list was 10 items deep and it's still 10 items deep. I haven't accomplished anything. I know for a fact that by having an accountability partner and having someone to just show you a direction that you can take can be of a huge plus in your favor when you're trying to start something anew. And so I've surrounded myself with people that are doing just that, going in the same direction. And it's amazing how when you make a concerted effort to do that, how things just align up for you because you put on your blinders. You have to focus out everything that doesn't apply to where you're going, everything that's not positive towards where are, let's see, solving problems. If
Right.
it's not there to encourage you to solve a problem for you or to help you, then reassess your surroundings.
Wow. Exactly. And
Mhm.
after one reassesses their surroundings, how do you do what's best for you?
You have to make the painful, selfish decision. It's a good selfishness, though. It's a
Mm.
good selfishness that once you get to a certain stage in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you start to understand that you're in this for the long haul and you're solo. You're
Yeah.
solo. You can touch the hem of the garments of a lot of the people that have gone before you,
Yeah.
and you can harness the wisdom and the experience of those that have shown us so many great. I was just looking back at Cicely Tyson the other day. One of her quotes, I'm like, she was so brilliant. She was just
Yeah.
brilliant and just a beautiful lady, very modest, and she shared so much in her golden years with us. So I read a lot of books and I listen to a lot of other podcasts in addition to mine,
Mm-hmm.
and you just get to share in your quests and your desires for success that other people have already accomplished. And so that helps you along the way. You know that it's attainable.
This was so amazing, Sharontine. I'm so excited we got to have you back here.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you are a very busy woman. You're a best-selling author. You
Mhm.
just mentioned that you have your own podcast. What's the name of your podcast, by the way?
The Life and Business Breakthrough Coach.
Great.
Uh-huh.
And then also you got this academy coming up, and you also, if correct me if I'm wrong, help women write books,
I do.
right? And so before we go, is it all right if you share a little bit with the
Sure,
audience?
sure. What I do is every one of us have a story. And most of us don't think that our story is worth telling. I didn't set out to become a best-selling author. I stumbled into it, but oh, what a blessing.
Mm.
Um, I started writing down parts of the painful process that I was going through with my daughter. She required multiple brain surgeries. And I just remember working my business, going to a job because by then I closed my business, gone through a divorce. So it was solo. I was a single parent doing all of this. And I just remember writing things down to just alleviate the stress and the pain that I was going through. So I just started writing and journaling. And before I knew it, I had a manuscript. And so I had a coach at the time. This coach believed in me, shared so much because we were friends prior to in the past, shared so much about me that I just kind of put on the sideline. He's like, you're capable of this, you can do this, you can do that. And I owe him just a lot. I'm deeply indebted to him. But he believed in me and he encouraged me. And so I had the manuscript edited 3 times and self-published. And I took advantage of Amazon self-publishing. They allow you to launch the ebook and you have up to, I believe, a year to come out with your hard copy. And there's a twofold purpose for that. They want you to continue to market and to advertise your work. And so I launched my ebook, and my ebook became a bestseller within 2 days of me launching it.
Wow.
Thereafter, I just thought, okay, that was very, very stressful, but it was so rewarding. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Yeah.
So it was very rewarding. I thought to myself, with a great coach, with myself, we did it, we did it, we did it. So I help women write their best story. I help women share their why, because I found in releasing my book and it becoming a bestseller, so many people just came back, testimonials that how much my story, my little story helped them. And I simply wrote down my story, shared it in a moment when I thought it was very necessary for me to heal. It helped me heal. And then I got the feedback from so many other women that it helped them. So no matter who you are, you have a story and it can help someone. So I encourage women to put it out there. Now, you've got to market and advertise, and you've got to help yourself in order to get sales. Most authors don't get rich just by writing a book. You've got to market that book.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure that you put it out there. And so Amazon does a great job getting it started, but you got to do the rest of the work. Okay? So that's what I did. Is I went in my circle, and you have to know who, because most people that like, I don't read books. Okay, well then you can do the ebook. Okay, So I just marketed to people that I knew, and I text people, and that's how I got them to know. And some of my friends put it on their page, on their Facebook page or whatever, and announced the launch of the book. And I believe, and I know for sure, that's what contributed to me becoming a Amazon bestseller.
Wow, what a wonderful story!
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharontine, for sharing.
You are so welcome. Every time I share this story, it's more meaningful to me, because it was a labor of love. It was a labor of love. It really was. And I encourage anyone, and congratulations to you for stepping out there, just doing your thing with your new book. I just can't say enough. It's such a rewarding move.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I believe in giving, and I believe that giving is an energy exchange, so it's just as lucrative as cash.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're always, when you find a way to put a smile or help someone, I don't care what it is, you always brighten their day, but you get rewarded. And we don't do it to get rewarded in return. We just do it because that's our flow.
I love it. Yeah.
That's our flow,
Yep.